Hey there, this is James for Living for Crits, and happy Saturday. And we're going to talk about Saturday campaigning today, and a book and a game called Dungeons and Dragons 5th Edition, which I know a lot of our viewers on for the Living for Crits stream that we do on Sundays, and a lot of our friends and stuff don't play this game. And they're going to be like, what the hell's wrong with you guys? And why are you doing this now? You guys were the holdouts on D&D 5e, and now you're doing it. And what I've done to protect myself from any of that flack is I put on a Hawaiian shirt. So I figured that a Hawaiian shirt makes everyone smile. It works, right? Anyway, yes, we're diving back into this. If you don't know our channel, we have not played. We played only one game of Fifth Edition back in 2019. It was the game that seeded the entire, Living for Crits weekly stream that we do on Twitch. We wouldn't be doing that without having first tried delving into 5e back in March of 2019. Evie doesn't like to mention that, but it's true. All right. I told her this yesterday when I told her that we were going back into 5A. Uh, but, we have some reasons why we want to get back into the 5th edition side of things. And I thought that we'd go through them together, you and I, viewers, and Judge James, to just, have a nice little morning chat, right? So I put five reasons together, and I'm gonna go through them briefly. And you can agree, disagree, whatever. They're my opinions. So either I guess you can disagree with my opinions. That's fine, but it doesn't make them less of my opinion. The first thing is there's a lot of stuff that we own here that I'd really like to try, and D&D Fifth Edition makes the most sense. For instance, I really like the Talus book. I think it's a gorgeous product. I think the handouts are amazing. For online play especially, all the materials this comes with on the PDF side are fantastic. I really like all the things you can share with your players in person. There's a whole packet in the back. I'll get it out here. I don't have it here. It's upstairs. Oh crap. There's a whole packet in the back of materials of handouts and a newspaper for the city of Talus. That's so cool. And there's a cipher version of this game, but I think the 5e one I guess makes more logical sense for me since the game was written for D&D 3rd edition. And this is a Monte Cook Games product, okay? There are a lot of other game companies out there that we like that make D&D 5e products, most notably Goodman Games. So with their those revised versions of Lost Isle or I'm sorry, Isle of Dread and you know Keep on the Borderlands, that's pretty cool. I think I would like to give those a shot. To do that though, I need to have some fifth edition knowledge, which I don't have. In general, reason number two, I do want that contemporary knowledge of what's going on right now. I've done so much old school style gaming, whether it was Dungeon Crawl Classics, or before that Basic Fantasy RPG, or before that just, dabbling again in the mid 2010s with the what's it called, the D&D rules cyclopedia and that era of basic Dungeons and Dragons. I've done a lot of that in recent years, and I feel like I've fallen behind a bit in the times and what's going on in that part of the hobby. Like I would hate to have like a D&D 6th edition come out and have kind of skipped entirely a whole edition if I was going to try that one. I mean, I've played second, third, and fourth all extensively. So while it was kind of fun and cool to like rail against a game, the fifth edition, um, I feel like there's a gap in my knowledge base. And yes, I've played modern games like Fantasy Age and Shadow the Demon Lord. They're both very modern games and systems. But the game that most people out there are playing right now, I haven't been playing, which leads to number three. Yeah, I'd like to reach more of you with our channel. Okay, I don't think that's, I mean, anything wrong to say that. There's nothing wrong with saying that, right? But I think that we have a lot of great things to say here, especially when we soapbox, especially on things like mental health or standing up against gatekeeping and bigotry and misogyny and hate in general, or about teaching the next generation about our hobby, right? That's how Living for Crits started in 2015, was wanting to share that very cringy, terrible video. Not that this isn't a cringy and terrible video. I'm sure it is. Again, I don't edit yet, and it's just, ugh, I don't do a great job at this. I do kind of phone this in, but I'm phoning it in a Hawaiian shirt. Just don't forget that. But that very first video that I put out in 2015, it was essentially a video about, wanting to show geek life and wanting to show what it was like to be a family that was immersed in the hobby like 24/7. And I did an okay job of it, but I was still new at it, right? And it was just something that we never fully achieved. Those kinds of things I still want to talk about, and with more of you, all right? And that last part about gaming with kids is really hard to talk about, number four, if you aren't talking about the game the kids are playing right now, okay? Um, you know, most of Evie's friends, a lot of Cooper's friends, and some of Eli's friends, they play role playing games, but they play Dungeons and Dragons, and that's what they're playing. And we can shout that our games are better all we want about Dungeon Crawl Classics and Shadow the Demon Lord, but what's really accessible to new players? If you go to Barnes and Noble, the role playing section, it has Pathfinder books, it may have Star Wars books, it's got a lot of D&D books. You can walk into a Target and buy a D&D starter set right now, right? You can still do that. It's a lot harder for a young player to convince their parents or relatives to go online to some obscure, gaming company like, Goodman Games or something like that, some small print company or smaller print company, and throw down money or on a credit card or PayPal for a book and make purchase that way. That's a harder push than, putting your Christmas list, I'd like to have Dungeons and Dragons, and it shows up from Barnes and Noble or Target. And you know what? On that last point, or the second to last point, I'm gonna call us out on our own shit a little bit here, okay? Our shtick, and let's be clear, it's often a shtick. Whatever Evie says tomorrow night, there is a bit of shtick to that. Our shtick can be off-putting to folks that are new to the hobby. Someone that gets the game and shows up in Evie's school and says, "Hey, look at this new cool hobby I discovered. I just found 5th edition, and it's really awesome. And I love Dungeons and Dragons. I want to play this, and will you play with me?" And Evie goes, "Nah, that game ain't cool. Try this game." And she pulls out, DCC. First off, that doesn't work. Honestly, the whole "my game is better than yours" thing really needs to vacate the gaming space sooner than later. I think we are past it in 2021, so we don't need to be contributing to that. And I know we do sometimes. And again, some is shtick, but I want to start, away from that shtick, okay? Being more inclusive of people that have different opinions, even about editions. So yeah, edition wars, that can follow right behind the whole "my game is better than yours" thing, because 4th edition was awesome. So yeah, on that note, I'm going to wrap us up here, okay? I will see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow, I have planned to talk about what are the oldest gaming books in my gaming library, my very first campaign setting, and the setting that ultimately forced me to pull the trigger this week and start buying D&D 5e, and that's Ravenloft, one of the only remaining books or pieces of gaming swag from that box that I have left, because a lot of that box was destroyed in so many moves. But I do still have the original book that I got way back, like in 1992 or 93. When did it come out? I gotta look. I don't know if it says. 4th printing, and this is 1990. Well, I got it in 1992 or 1993. So we'll discuss this tomorrow, okay? So that's it. So I'm going to wrap things here, and have a great day, and hope that you're gaming today, all right? Take care. Bye.